This is what I like to call my everything but dinner prep. It's when I prep breakfast, lunch, and essentials for the next few days. The first thing I'm gonna do is get a loaf of bread baking in my bread machine. I started making my bread at home when I once went out of town for 3 weeks and I accidentally left a loaf of bread out on the countertop. And when I came back home, that bread still looked almost as good as it did before I left. And it really made me wonder exactly how much chemicals and preservatives that bread had for it to look that good 3 weeks later. Next, I decided to do the kids' breakfast, which is gonna be pancakes. I saw on TikTok that some people were baking their pancakes in the oven instead of making like 20 on a griddle, and I thought that was the most genius idea ever, so I'm gonna try baking my pancakes this week. I also added in some blended up cottage cheese so that I can increase the amount of protein that's in these pancakes. And I've seen people add all sorts of toppings when they make these, and I really thought about adding some strawberries, but realistically, I know my kids just love chocolate chip pancakes, so that's what I'm making. Once I got those in the oven, I did a quick cleanup because cleaning as you go is so important, especially when you're doing a big prep like this, and then I got ready to start making my overnight oats. Now this is going to be my breakfast for the next few days, and I seriously love the pistachio and date flavored overnight oats, so that's what I went for. Next, I'm going to prep some stir-fry noodles for my kids' lunches. When my kids first started school, they absolutely loved school lunch, but then somewhere around the middle of kindergarten, they each decided that school lunch was horrible and they only wanted lunch from home. And while I'm really flattered that they love my cooking so much, it's sometimes hard to figure out what to give them for lunch. But lately they have been absolutely loving these stir-fried noodles, and that's what they asked for this week. And this recipe is so easy. All I did was saute some vegetables, added in my sauces, and added in my noodles and gave it a good stir. And then my pancakes were ready, and so I pulled them out of the oven to cool, and while I waited, all I did was chop up some mango for a quick after-school snack. And then I cut my pancakes into squares, and I did do a double batch, and half of it I froze and the other half I'm just gonna keep into the refrigerator to eat throughout the week. And then I saw that my noodles were cool enough to store, so I packed those up and put those in the fridge, and then I took a little break while I waited for the bread to finish baking, and when it did, oh my god, my house smelled so good. There's seriously nothing that compares to fresh homemade bread. And once my bread had cooled a little, I cut it into slices, and that's all I did for my everything but dinner prep. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like this kind of content, please like and follow for more.